Okay. No, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's going. Completely going.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Alexi, #WannabeDingus.
What's up, Society-Samthedingus? Here at my third favorite park with my friends. Go on it, so.
Yeah.
These are my homies. But today I want to show you guys one of the coolest parkour moves that ever existed, double Kong. Alright. Before you know the double Kong, or before you try to learn it, you should learn at least 3 things. 1, a safety roll, or just a break fall roll in general, because you're going to be flying head first. So a roll isn't completely necessary, mandatory I would say. Also, I recommend mandatory, though I guess nothing's really mandatory, is a dive roll. And I think a dive roll is the best thing you could do to help yourself learn this move, because it is a bit scary. Dive roll is the same thing as a forward roll, but you jump into it, so you're touching hands first. That's good practice for the double Kong. Also, you have to know how to do a regular Kong, or else this would be disastrous and a waste of time. Unless you just like watching tutorials for fun. So regular Kong, being the same as you just saw, but much more tame. Did that with my bad side, almost ate shit. If you do all that, there's only one more thing you need. That's a dive Kong. Basically the same thing except the long ways. So double Kong is one of the best ways to cover distance. For large obstacles, it's probably the best vault that exists. Also, it's probably the only vault other than a dive Kong that works where if there was a gap in between 2 obstacles, you could touch both obstacles and clear it like this. But like I said, you need to have a dive Kong before a double Kong because you still have to clear the entire table, so I recommend you practice. Really, that's the main key when anything that you learn, like tricking or parkour, is that you learn how to progress into it safely. So if you can do a dive Kong already to the long end of a table, you're well on the way to learning this. It's just a very slight tweak in technique between that and a double Kong. Let me find a good spot to set this. We'll get bussing. So, double Kong, like the dive Kong, like many other vaults, requires momentum. But you need a lot more for this than most other vaults because you would only do it if you had a long distance to cover. If it was the short side of a table, double Kong might actually get you hurt if you were trying it. So, you walk maybe 3 to 5 steps, and you take off before you touch the table. Like all vaults, except maybe the cache is a gallop. So your last 2 steps will be like this. Down. First step in double Kong is to put your hands on the table once you got all this momentum. What you kind of do is, I'm not sure exactly how you would picture a double Kong if you've never tried it before, or how you'd picture like trying to do it or what you're doing with the momentum, but it's not like so much touching twice. It's more like you touch so that you can throw yourself across at once. That's a better way to explain it than just double touch, I guess. So when you touch the table, you're going to be a bit low on it. You don't want to jump into the first touch. You're going to touch the first touch. Get low. Think of it as this is the pre-jump position. It's the best way to put it. You're pretty much almost all the way done with it already. Once you start playing around with that, you might be able to figure it out, but the first step to doing this is to do it here. So I'll just move you on the other side here. So it'll help you a lot if you do all the steps that you know so far. Run up, get a little bit low on the table, touch it, and then go for the first throw. Like from here, it's hard to describe exactly what you do, but you kind of jump, kick up, and your hands do it. It looks like your hands do. They kind of just push up and throw down. So, I mean, you already know how to do a Kong and a dive at this point, so you're probably okay, but just practice that motion, it can help. Kick up, catch it again. It's nice. All right, now once you do that, just try it going forward. Get the double touch, and then land with your feet on the table. This way you're not so scared. And basically you're just going to drill that so you get farther and farther on the table. It feels more and more comfortable possible that you can clear the whole table. And eventually you just give it the full send. And when you do it, it'll probably be easier than you think, especially if you can already dive Kong. That's why I really emphasize you learn that first. Now I've got 2 safety bail options, because that's basically it for the technique. Just once you're, this dive Kong looks good when it's really inverted. It'll be easier, much cooler looking, if you can get your hips up high when you're covering the distance. Because if you stay low, you're just going to slide straight forward. And when you touch the second time, you'll probably clip your feet on the end of the table. And there's nothing that terrifies me more than that idea. So commit to putting your hips up high in the air. It's a transfer. It feels pretty fluid once you really get the hang of it. And now, as I was saying, I've got 2 safety options for you trying to learn this trick. And it's not going so well mid-flight, or you're just still scared to give it a full set. Then after you've done the second touch, you can just kind of abandon the move and touch your feet on the table, try to save yourself. Maybe it won't help, but it could also save you. So what I'm saying is, just pretend my hips are flying up in the air. When you touch the second time, just come to your feet and step through to the other side. Again. Safety tip number 3 and number 2. And basically the last tip is before you have it perfect and comfortable that you can just like send it straight through, you can let your legs drop to the side when they're coming down. That'll make it easy as hell. That's basically like a cat pass into a side vault, which is kind of cool in its own right, but eventually you want to work it so that your legs pass straight through your hands when you're done. And if at all possible, on the landing, split your feet. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you stick or you keep walking, but in general, if you're doing a vault, the purpose is to keep moving, to maintain your momentum. Because hypothetically, you're using it to clear the distance quickly. Like, this is a move that is cool because it's cool, and you could do it just because it's cool, but efficient-wise, it's also one of the best. So, use it at the right time, the right place. So practice it on these tables. And honestly, my dream is to test this vault with a gap. Deadly terrifying, but I want to do that where there's maybe an obstacle here, a gap here, and the obstacle here, and you can clear the gap by touching. I think that would be cool as fuck. But I don't have an obstacle for that yet, so just a table grind for me. I'm gonna show you that a few more times, put it in some slow-mo, but that's basically it. That's basically it. Only last thing I thought of is whenever you touch with your arms, you don't want them to bend. The pushing with your arms is not elbow extension, it's shoulder push, if that makes sense. Full support, keep your wrists safe, elbows. Hit the double Kong. That was a triple, it's amazing. Outstanding. Alright, so everything that pops into my brain for this tutorial. This is, when I saw this move, it's one of the biggest inspirations, I'd say, to learn it. It's like a backflip for parkour, like, just honestly one of the coolest moves that you need to have down if it's something you're into. If you want to learn how to clear a huge distance, and you need to, double Kong is the coolest way to do it. So, get learning. Do it just because you've always wanted to, because you're awesome. Eat cheese. Damn.
Don't roll your eyes. Everything.